Potter's Journal, another in my occasional collecting series. Let's see what's in the mail today. I guess if it says fragile on it, you put it on top of the icy mailboxes instead of in. It would have fit. Let's see, is this what I'm waiting for? Yes, airmail. It is from the UK. It is from the Goldmark Galleries. It is Pottery. I finally did subscribe to the Goldmark channel and saw and went and bought something, thinking that everything would be over 1,000 pounds. Well, they have pieces under 1,000 pounds. Okay, these are the big boys. They should know how to wrap things right. And already, this did take a pretty good tumble and took a crash right there. But this feels like it is a laminated beam. It's got strength to it, so I want to see just what they did to put this thing together. And I can tell already they put extra cardboard on here. Okay, I think they added to a box. Yeah, look at that. This is, wow. Looks like 3 layers of cardboard added on the top here. Okay, so it was probably, now I'm going to say, a mistake to subscribe, because I saw a Clive Bowen's exhibit they've got coming up, who I'm a big fan of, and as I said, realizing, well, they're pieces under 1,000 pounds, and I mean, yeah, under 100 pounds, and I do occasionally collect some pieces, usually people I know, because it's then memories of them. And but I've always been a big fan of slipware, always a big fan of Michael Cardew, who I'm reading Pioneer Potter right now, I believe in one of Clive Bowen's interviews said something about either knowing, working, or influenced by. And I've always been a fan of earthenware and slipware. I have done it myself in the past, but I couldn't find one of these with a double handle, but have now taken to doing similar things in stoneware. And I was staying away from the wavy pattern thing, thinking it too common, or maybe even amateurish, but seeing the Clive Bowen pieces very loose and free and alive, and even to sing with just that simple wavy line on it, decided I wasn't going to hold back from doing what I like. Okay, yeah, so I'm just going to do the top, because I think the bottom is done just the same. I'm even starting to wonder if this is a box, or if this is cardboard. Oh, wow. They I've got 3 pieces of cardboard on this side, up this side. Look at that. Across there, and then 1 over the top. So they manufactured a box out of laminated cardboard. It's oh, and it's 3 pieces thick, so that's 1 solid piece of laminated cardboard. So this is how the big boys do it. And okay, we'll look at that later. And this is then got bubble wrap and bubble wrap and bubble wrap. I said I was never going to do this again in front of a camera after that Steve Booten piece, completely knocking me over with the strength and the energy of the piece, coming even through the paper. Okay, so not the box in a box, but a very custom-made box, and bubble wrap all around, and then the piece in bubble wrap. So I went to the website, I saw what was on there, realized that, okay, they just posted this, and this is a preview to, and going to have a show opening, that this was the time when the best selection would be up there. I did get caught up in the moment, decided I better pick now, and I was right, because a day later, all the small pieces, you know, in a budget that a normal person could stretch themselves to were gone. And what was left was those pieces that were 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 pounds. So I need to start doing this the other way around. I need to get an Etsy site started and put these in the box myself and drive them to the post office and send them off. Okay, and once again, I can't be disappointed. I can't be disappointed. And he is an unsigned, unstamped, all his pieces. It is now June 2019. This was okay, yeah, and I'm real busy outside the studio right now. I probably won't be back in until after the 4th of July. This was not like the unwrapping of the Steve Booten piece, which completely blew me over by its energy. I think I compared it to Neolithic stone circles or contemporary Richard Serra piece. But that's not why I got the piece either. You know, there were a lot of reasons. I've always been a fan of slipware, and I think mostly look, you know, at American pieces. Here's one I picked up in the 80s, and I think they took the temperature up a little higher, gave it a smooth surface, which is kind of nice on the bottom. A lot of the pieces of that I do see visiting historic villages or historic places where they may have a gift shop after you visit, you know, an old mansion where they may have used redware. The pieces in the gift shops have sometimes a sterile look to them, you know, a lot of the life is somehow breathed out of them. That looking at the Bowen piece, watching the Goldmark film, and then going over the website, his pieces do seem to both be built on a huge history, English slipware tradition and history, which I just became aware of, especially from watching I'll have to put a link up, I think it was a Rubsy Striger video. But his pieces seem to, if you didn't, unknown craftsman, no markings on the bottom. If you pick this up a century from now, it just seems that you could both put it to this date, because it seems to fit in a timeline that's built on a tradition. But also very alive with some kind, you know, a growth and something that speaks of today, that could probably even be attributed to Clive Bowen's. That there's that much of him in the pieces. So many reasons I picked it up. You know, I'm also reading right now Pioneer Potter, Michael Cardew. I will have to do a book review maybe with this sometime. That he studied. And I believe he said he worked with Cardew, but apprenticed with Michael Leach, which I'm Bernard Leach's son, finding out there's more to that family in clay than I was originally aware of. Yeah, so many reasons I picked it up after seeing the video. Another, I'll have to say, I will either thank or blame it on L&B Ceramics. He did a video where he visited the Goldmark Gallery. It was like a kid in the candy store watching him. I felt like it was me there. And when he reached out and touched where there was a swerve in a pot, and like that. The only way I could do that, being from Pittsburgh, was actually to get a piece myself and to be able to hold it in my hands. But I wanted to so much watching the video. Back to the blame it on part. Yeah, okay, 80 pounds. In English or in American dollars, that would roughly translate to about 3 of my tea bowls. But nice to be able to, and to hold a piece in your hand of somebody that you do feel that, you know, fits in a timeline of ceramic history, and does have the connections to, you know, other potters that you know, that you admire, and you know, some shared influences with you know, other people that you watch on YouTube. I'm also glad I acted fast, because the pieces that were in a budget that I could stretch myself to were gone the next day. So it was fun to look at this and do the detective work on just how it was done. Looking at it, you know, the slip put on there and then combed through, but it looked like one time around the downward combs went, and the next time the upward, that you see thinner spots in the slip and then thicker there, and you can tell where it was combed up and thicker parts there. That fluidity that you know, shows through the glaze, you know, adds a bit of life and into the redware, that and for me with electric kiln, that essential getting that in there to you know, add some life to electric fire kiln. I'd like to do the slipware again, like I said, that but you know, these were just brought back to me from Mexico, little I think chocolate cups. There's a roughness to them. I'm probably going to stick with the stoneware for now, and you know, bring some of the same techniques with the slip to that, and the extra durability is nice. And, so I'll be back in the studio hopefully after 4th of July, not as productive as winter, but I'll try it again in a little bit each week. I'll say to stop back and see which way we take this. Do comments, subscribe, stop back for maybe a book review. I might start doing some earthenware again, but I will be bringing the slip techniques to the stoneware. And the occasional collecting, not a big-time collector, but just a potter, collecting another potter's great work.